Standing with me now is suspended Wits SRC President Aphiwe Mnyamana. Aphiwe, your suspension, they gave it to you a few days back. What were the reasons for it? And are there any communication with the Wits SRC management and the Vice Chancellor to revoke it? What are the requirements for it to take you back to campus?
Thank you very much. Firstly, the suspension I have to mention was an illegal suspension, because in the court of law in South Africa, once you get a notice, you then have to say, I'll be available to attend hearing. So I received a notice from Wits University that I must attend hearing. While I was in communication with the Premier, with the Department of Higher Education, while I was with the chair of NFSAS, organizing a mediation meeting with the Vice Chancellor. So instead of the Vice Chancellor attending to that meeting, they decided that they will continue to intimidate me with that suspension. And I did indicate, and I have proof, I posted it online, that I won't be able to attend the hearing at that day. So they must postpone the hearing to tomorrow. And that's within my right. Despite that, Wits University continued to suspend me, to give a suspension order without even hearing my side of the story. So they were trying to intimidate me, and that's not a suspension, that's an exclusion. They're saying I must not attend any lectures in campus. They're saying I must not even access this campus, which I pay for. They've kicked me out of my residence right now. My residence is locked, I cannot even access my clothes. I just sleep where I can sleep. If there is a lecture want to accommodate me, I go there. So Wits has excluded me, and that's a political move to try and intimidate me, and I'm not intimidated by that. We as our lawyers have written to Wits University to immediately unsuspend me, because the grounds for suspension are not legal, and we are still waiting for ENS, because they think if they're gonna use ENS, that African largest law firm, they will intimidate us students. We are not gonna be intimidated by ENS. Wits has a notice from the Mabuza attorneys, and Wits must reply to that notice. As of now, this is my campus. I won't be excluded from my campus. I will enter this campus.
Briefing with the Deputy President, there were some terms pre-ceasefire that you guys SRC put forward to the Vice Chancellor and management. Have you gotten a response from them? And also, why did you choose those specific 3 areas? One of them being the so-called bouncers, private security being removed from campus.
An unfortunate thing that has happened with this protest is that people have moved their focus from why we are protesting for. We are protesting for students who are sleeping in our offices to be accommodated. We are protesting for students who are academically deserving, who are eligible to register, but they cannot, because they are being told that they are too poor to be educated. Those are the 2 main demands of the SRC. And we sat yesterday as an SRC and said, the Vice Chancellor is adamant. He doesn't want to meet us. We had everyone from the sector. We had NFSAS, we had the Premier, we had Department of Higher Education, but the Vice Chancellor said, no, he's not going to meet us up until we cease fire. And I said to the SRC, if the Vice Chancellor is adamant of saying we must cease fire before we meet, then let's listen to the Vice Chancellor. Let's cease fire for today and go and meet the Vice Chancellor. So that we are still waiting for the Vice Chancellor to give us a response. And the Vice Chancellor, they are trying to divide student leadership. Yesterday, they wrote a letter to the Deputy President saying the President is suspended. Now we are acting as the President. And as an SRC, we collectively declined that. The Deputy President said, no, the President is Aphiwe Mnyamana, and I'm addressing here as the President of an SRC. If Wits want to suspend me, they must follow all legal procedure. They must not use law as an act of intimidation. So today, as you can see, campus has come. We are not hooligans. We want the Vice Chancellor to address our issues. If the Vice Chancellor decides not to unsuspend me, we do have a case in court. We're going to go and meet ENS at court. But our main issue here, our main priority is those students who are sleeping in libraries. Our main priority is those students who are unable to register because they are too poor to accommodate, to afford fees. That's our main issue. And in our meeting with the Vice Chancellor, we are waiting for the Vice Chancellor to respond. The condition is that he meets all of us. I must be in that meeting. Everyone who's been suspended from the SRC must be in that meeting, because those suspensions were badly calculated political move. I don't know who's advising the Vice Chancellor, but they're doing a bad job.
What terms, when they served you with the papers, what did they say? These are 1, 2, 3 reasons that you individually have been suspended.
The terms for the suspension is they are suspending me for doing my job. And my job is to represent all students. So they're trying to silence me without suspension. And I won't be silenced. They said I led a group of students to shut down the university. And I will gladly do it again tomorrow if the Vice Chancellor does not reply to our concerns of accommodation and registration. This university won't proceed to work as normal while the vast majority of our people are being suspended. That one we are clear and unequivocal, and we're going to state it without any fear of intimidation. So the Vice Chancellor must come to the table. As an SRC, we have ceased fire. We need him to come to the table and address all SRC members. So if really the Vice Chancellor fails to do that, then it means there is something wrong with him and there is something wrong with the university. Thank you very much.
No, lastly, your personal part, how has it affected you, your studies and everything else?
I've been excluded from the university. I've been chased away from my home, the home which I pay fees for, and without any trial, without any appeal. Right now, this blazer, I can't even access my SRC blazer. The clothes that I'm wearing, I clothes from a friend who said, Aphiwe, you look dirty, take this thing and wear it. I have nowhere to sleep as you're speaking. And that will not derail me or won't derail the SRC from pursuing our genuine demands of accommodation and registration. We are saying the Vice Chancellor must come to the table and discuss registration and accommodation. If the Vice Chancellor feels that there are grounds for a suspension, which we do not think there are, he must go and meet us in court. Let's discuss registration, let's discuss accommodation. The legalities part, we're gonna meet him in court. We are able to face Wits in court for pound, because Wits has broken the law. Wits has brought these abusers. So let's go and discuss that in court. Right now, as an SRC, we want to discuss these students who've been protesting from day one, who are tired, who are hopeless, who are here to pursue education so that they can make their lives better. But you are being declined that opportunity to discuss that because the Vice Chancellor is adamant. He doesn't want to meet us. How can you say that these are sectoral issues while we had the sector to answer those things? While we had that every stakeholder was on the table to discuss, but the Vice Chancellor was absent because the Vice Chancellor is saying we are protesting. Now we have ceased fire. Can the Vice Chancellor address us? That's what we want. I know he's hearing this. Can Wits University come and address all SRC members? If they want to continue to persecute us with legalities, we're going to meet them pound for pound in court. We don't mind. But the pending issues now, we are not enjoying the protest. They are not enjoying the protest, but the protest is genuine. Up until these issues are answered for, the protest will continue. Thank you very much.
Standing with me now is the Wits University Deputy President, Kamogelo Mabe. Kamogelo, press conference is done. You mentioned a lot, but there's a plethora of issues, but there's 3 specific demands that you guys made before the ceasefire. Before you guys, put your guard down. Can you maybe reiterate those issues, and why did you specifically choose those 3 issues while, as you mentioned, there's still a lot more?
Yeah. Good morning and thanks for having me. So the university had approached the Wits SRC to state that they do wish to engage with us, but only on a ceasefire basis. So obviously, as leadership, we do not just only go into negotiations with the expectation that if you say that we cease fire, then that's it. We also do table demands to say that if you cease fire, take us into good faith that we are going to mediate. It's going to be an open engagement. So for the confidence that we wish that you take us into good faith for is that 1, you remove the police presence in and around the university precinct. Secondly, the private security that has been paid to simply block us off the Wits facilities, they should also be removed. Third and most importantly, that no further suspensions occur, and also those that have occurred are adjusted in such a way that they are lifted.
And why specifically did you guys go for those 3 issues? I mean, there's the issue of the president also being suspended indefinitely. Wouldn't that be one of the demands that you guys would make for the ceasefire?
Yeah, I mean, our preamble, we did mention that in our preamble that the SRC President, we call him upon for his suspension to be lifted, and for the investigator to take us into good faith. We wish that the person who's been commanding us thus far is also at the table to continue also commanding us, right? But as you may have heard my third point, I said those that have been suspended and those that are still being processed to be suspended. So we're not excluding the president from those that have been suspended, but it is important that we do isolate the president and also do what we stated. So that is our position in terms of the SRC.
So is the president himself, have you had any communication from him? He's been barred from being in any Wits affiliated institution. What is the communication, and how are the students taking it?
Yeah, the students are, first let me start with the students. The students did not receive the suspension of the president quite well because this is someone that they voted in. And obviously to take away the voice of the students, it is quite a very difficult task, right? And I wish that the university acknowledges that by just correcting what they've done, right? So in terms of the president's whereabouts, we are still trying to get a hold of the president so that at least he can also show proof of life. We have not been able to reach the president since last night. That's the last time we have seen him, last night. So we are hoping that the president can at least show face so that we are able to then have it in good confidence that our president is sound and safe wherever he is. Because the suspension is accompanied by him not being in any university precinct, including residence as well.